The era of super skinny models is over, at least in France. Let's get into create mode. Now, the French Parliament passed a measure that bans dangerously skinny models. And when photographers and editors digitally alter models' bodies, they have to label that, even for photos online. Fashion agencies who violate the new law will be fined and could even serve half a year behind bars. If this seems drastic to you, keep in mind that anorexia is a huge problem in France. In fact, an estimated 40,000 people in the country suffer from the eating disorder, most of them being teens. Now, with me right now is Claire Misco, Program Director for National Eating Disorder Association, and Melissa Knowles joins me as well. Now, Claire, I want to start with you. Under the new law, models have to have a certain body mass index, or BMI. Now, the Parliament proposed BMI minimum to be at least 18, but that's still being debated. To give you context, according to the World Health Organization, women below 18.5 BMI are considered underweight. Knowing that, do you think the BMI of at least 18 is a fair expectation?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm happy to see that governments worldwide are taking eating disorders seriously. These are incredibly complex illnesses, and in the United States alone, an estimated 30 million Americans will struggle with an eating disorder at some point in their lives. The question here is whether body mass index is the most effective way to screen models for eating disorders. We know models are at very high risk. They work in a high pressure environment where their jobs are really dependent on their physical appearance. But we also know that BMI is not a holistic measure of health. So, not everybody who struggles with an eating disorder will be at a dangerously low BMI. There are many people who have eating disorders who are in the normal range. So if we're really interested in protecting the health of models and sending a message about health, BMI is not necessarily the best measure.
Well, Melissa, some critics of the ban say using BMI is unfair. Some people are naturally skinny. Is it fair that those models can't work anymore because of this ban?
No, I don't think that that's fair that the models can't work anymore because of the ban. I think that, I'm one of those people, so yes, I'm going to talk about myself here, but I'm one of those people who is just naturally skinny. I get skinny shamed all the time on Twitter, and I don't have a scale in my house, so let me just say that. I go by how my clothes fit, and everybody around here knows I eat constantly all day long, and I like to run and work out. I don't think that it's fair that the models should be judged based on their BMI. I think it's important that they should have healthy standards, and you can tell when someone doesn't look like they're taking the best care of themselves. But making this mandate where they have to have a certain BMI, that's not necessarily fair because that doesn't work for every single body type.
Now, Melissa, how do you feel when you get judged on Twitter and social media about your appearance?
Well, I've been judged my entire life about it, and I was an athlete growing up, and I ran track, so that kept you skinny. In fact, we had to eat more in order to keep the weight and the muscle where we needed it to be so we could be competitive. It hurts my feelings, honestly. There was somebody who said maybe 2 months ago that I needed to eat a sandwich or two, and it's like, lady, I eat all the time. And I don't know. It's not very nice. But I know that those people don't actually watch me get to eat all day long. And people who know me know that I do not have an eating disorder and that I really enjoy food.
I could attest to that because
the
girl eats.
Y'all see me eating on the back, in the back of the shot all the time, right?
Eat, but coming as somebody that has suffered from an eating disorder as well, do you think that this law is actually going to help girls that are suffering with this disease? Real quick, Claire, yes or no, do you think it's going to help?
Well, that remains to be seen. I think the better approach would be to actually screen models for eating disorders, asking them about their attitudes and behaviors towards food, weight, and body image, which is a much better way. You can't tell, as Melissa pointed out, by looking at someone necessarily whether they're struggling with an eating disorder or not. We do know that models are at high risk, but models of all sizes could be at risk for eating disorders. So I think screening based on a person's attitude, behaviors towards food and weight is a better way to go.
Claire, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.